I love this anime to bits, but one would think that if he dropped the boat from his shoulder's height down to the ground, then it would have sent them flying way more as it hit the ground. One of the longest giving yourself away before you attack cliché.
しかし、それが本当だとすると、ジークの秘策にも筋が通る。
At this stage, it's not about trusting Zeke or not trusting him. It's merely about saying that he's not lying in terms of his plans, since Eren can confirm it.
こちら、第二次調査船だ。
よかった。船が破損して。ずっと助けを待ってた。
Well, if you want to convince them, you may not want to go from full-blown panic to ultra smooth and calm.
無事か？もう大丈夫だぞ。
You're not ignoring them and going past to McDonald's then?
汚れた悪魔の汚らわしい島へようこそ。
I think it's clearly meant to be that Armin's Titan disturbed the water so much when he turned that it blew the water up and it's coming down now, but it's been coming down for like a solid 25 seconds. Gravity really should have taken care of that by now. Unless he can change the weather.
ところで、おにゃんぽこんはなんで肌が黒いのですか?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
この家紋に見覚えはございませんか?
これは
見せるんだ、ミカサ。
でも、これはお母さんが秘密にしてろって。
Kind of giving it away though, talking about it so openly while everyone around you is clearly watching and listening. Not much point keeping it a secret now, is it?
同じ地で生まれた青年だ。幼少期は女王に石を投げつけていたらしい。構って欲しかったようだ。
Well, that's one way to go about it. Some people call out to others. I drive my car into them, so to each their own.
じゃあ、俺たちは地ならしに頼るしかなくて。ヒストリアの
Fist clenching sound effects.
そこで本場のマーレ料理に舌包みを。
CGI.
お前は兵団の指導者とか目指せよ。エレンの巨人は俺が継ぐから。なあ、それがいいだろ、エレン。
コニー。
Saying someone's name instead of talking normally cliché.
義勇兵の拘束か。まさかピクス司令がそんな強硬策に出るとはな。
調査兵団は彼らと距離が近いから事前に知らされなかったらしい。
Exposition no, since they'd know that since they and the scouts are so close that they weren't told in advance, since they and the scouts are so close that they weren't told in advance.
ミカサ、サシャが死んだ時エレンはどうしたと思う？涙を流したと思うか？笑いやがった。一体何がそんなにおかしかったんだろうな。サシャが死んだことのどこが。
Let's be honest, at worst it was a dry chuckle. Perhaps because her final words were that she wanted meat, which was a classic for her, and then after that he looked visibly angry for a while, bruh.
なあ、その腕章を外せよ。目立つから。
これを見られたって普通の住民に意味はわからないでしょ。
Yeah, but they'll also be like, hey, look at that very bright star thing on that girl's arm. Well, that's weird.
That's a weird thing to say.
軍人が見ればわかるだろう。いいから外せって。
こんな偏僻な田舎に軍人は歩いてないから。
Assumptions.
疲れてるやろ。それ食べたら横になっていいけんね。ごめんね。辛いことがあったんやろうね。
You gotta love how their first instinct isn't to actually find out where the kids' parents are and stuff, but instead to allow them to stay as long as they like. Weirdos. Not gonna lie, my guy here's got a weird ass looking noggin on him, that's for sure.
状況が変わったんだよ。壁が開かれ、世界とつながり、情報を持つ意味が変わったんだ。
辛いた。
Mikasa got that uniform with a bag of water strapped to the back of it for emergency drinkies.
罪を受け入れてないようですね。この島の民が世界に対して残虐非道の限りを尽くした歴史をお忘れですか?
The notion that she would randomly fraggle out of absolutely nowhere after spending quite some time working and staying at this farm only to now start spouting stuff that could see her get killed.
お前ら何暴れてんだ。
まずい。
ミアがお兄ちゃん取られるって焼きもち焼いてるの。
I get that she's a nice girl, loving the scene on Anime Wins, but girl just tried to straight up shank you with a pitchfork, so I doubt that happened. Sorry.
ルディア人は何千年もの間巨人の力で世界を支配し蹂躙してきたの。他の民族、
あの子に熱を上げるのもいいけど、世間がどうなってんのか分かってる？うん。これ読んで。
兵団が権力に固執するあまりエレン映画を不当に拘束。
Check out Armin grabbing the newspaper and managing to open it to the exact right page in order to read what she's referring to when she hands it to him rolled up, and not one headline but two.
アルミ。
ミカサ、よかった。無事に来れたんだね。
なあ。
イエレナがエレンと密会したことを認めた？本当ですか？
本当に知らなかった。イエレナがそんなことするわけないとは言わないんだね。彼女ならやりかねないと思っているから。
Well, I mean, for one, she already openly admitted to doing it herself, so... After the explosion, Mikasa and Armin wake up pretty much back inside the guy's office, and yet they were out in the hallway. And before you argue that window is a hallway window, it's not. The hallway had smaller windows, and only his office had this big one. And also, they walked quite far down the corridor away from the office, and Mikasa was stopped from going back. She asks as though she wasn't like in the office just now, or at the very least literally just down the way from his office, which blew up right in front of them.
ああ、俺たちだって美味しい思いしたっていいだろう。ちょっとくらい。
本当に触るな。
Nice and subtle there, my guy.
大変だ。来てくれみんな。何？
Come on, man! If Armin is yelling like this, you haul your ass over. Especially when you think something is amiss in the first place, hence why you bolt on over with your horses, and now he's calling for them frantically and she's like, Nani, Nani, tell me first before I come over.
怪我を見せて。
ミア。
Covered in blood? Nah, I doubt it, Mikasa Sukasa. Thank God they told us about the food and that it was made available for public discourse. Just kidding. It's just funny that it's all about food randomly, like the military allowed that precious info out.
ケンペーダーが飲まされたとは言ってないぞ。まさかあんたたちワインのこと知ってたの？
Not sure why she's so shocked when they've blown up their military commander and been plotting against them now for quite some time. It's hardly that big of a surprise that they also knew about turning the top military brass into titans if they resisted.
ピクシスの返答がどうであろうと奴を切る。完全武装の兵士が30名、この森を上から囲んでいる。やはりヒゲ面野郎は俺たちの敵だった。それが判明した時点で人質に手足をつけとく理由はねえよな。これをようやく証明できる。
As amazing and brilliant as this scene was, and as much as I praised it on the Wins version, I do also have to point out that I feel it'd be unlikely that all the soldiers, bar Levi, would drink wine whilst they're on duty during one of the most important missions of their lives, keeping a constant watchful eye on their worst enemy ever. I think it would make more sense if they put the fluid in water, or maybe not everyone turned, or something like that. Classic Attack on Titan, having Levi be able to zoom his way up a tree that's behind him without looking and not hit a single branch on his way up. Multiple people say the exact same thing at the exact same time and in the exact same way cliche. All 5 of them, no less.
目が覚めたか。
Asking someone if they're awake when they're awake, brought to you by the one country where a tennis player will halt their game, go around to the opposite side of the court, gesture their opponent to come closer, and ask them, "Are you awake?" Japan. I love these dumb jokes.
しかしエルディア帝国はその退路に巨人を仕掛け、夜明けと共に起き上がった巨人によってマーレ人は。
わかった。人がいっぱい死んだんでしょ。
お父さんはちゃんと正しい歴史を教えているか？
Yes! He literally just finished your story. Loads of people died because we're so evil and stuff, right?
告発なさい。もうこれしかない。いく、君は両親からひどいことをされた。勝手に見放し、ちっとも君のことを気にかけなかった。
Yeah, they've done horrible things like push you to become a warrior when you didn't really want to be one. So, turn them in and have them murdered? Justified action for their being mean sometimes.
愛さなかった。ジーク。
Bit weird that after naming them, they said, "Okay, come along, because we literally need you on the scene to physically point out your parents before we can make an arrest."
もしこれ以上ユミルの民が生まれてこなければ100年後にはこの世から巨人は消滅している。草葉さん。
He acts surprised, like he's shocked at him bringing up the notion of wiping out their entire race. Like what? Did I say something odd? I know that's not what it was about, but still.
亡き息子を君に求め、巨人の力で自分の罪から逃れようとした。私なんてこの世に生まれてこなければ。
Wouldn't this mean that this guy, who is at the very least in his early 30s, was basically 20 or older when he managed to join the warrior program in spite of having clearly no physical abilities at all? I'd also struggle to understand that they'd pick him for his mind, given that he's only got 13 years to live and could do a lot more alive than dead. Being mean to animals is always a sin, but my god, that plot twist, and watch the Winds version!
迅速な対応に感謝いたします。全兵団に一切の抵抗を禁じ、我々の要求通り、ここ志願しなくに兵士を集結くださるとは。
Exposition though, since he's done exactly what you've asked him to do, because he did exactly as you asked him to do. World's smallest knife found on display in Attack on Titan.
アーレを滅ぼして祖国の復讐を果たす。これがこの島に来た本当の目的だったんだろう。
島を発展させただろう。
Not that that has anything to do with your overall plan, which is what he was literally just talking about, but yeah, bruh.
示せ。敵はどこにいる？
そこ。
That's a weird thing to say.
ピークス、裏切ったんじゃなかったの？ガビ、私が仲間を売ると思ったの？でもマーレに仕えても私たちに未来はないって。
Yeah, but clearly like she just heavily implied she was goofing.
Nathan Burr, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Chris Harris, Jonas Gal, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Luis Hernandez, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Element Taylor Wars, Manuel Morales, Carlito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Keeper, Steelers, Amir Keenan, Sentimento, Juffa 6263, Master Tank, Kevin Nauta, Brendan Krier, Storm 970, Gaten Gaza, Matt the Marshmallow, Kaj Borzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Oliver Gable, Kimi O, Adora Blue, Matthew Ditzworth.